Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm joined by Kevin and Ian from the Land and New Homes Network. Thanks for joining me today, chaps. The question I want to ask is this: how do estate agents pitch their services to new homes builders? Talk to me.
Okay, so let's strip the pitch back. So obviously the pitch, as we would refer to it, is the moment of truth, if you like, when we're going to go along and present to the developer. But in the first instance, you've got to get to the table. So very often agents will have either been invited to pitch because they're seen as a local agent that's got a market share and a dominant brand or whatever, and the developer feels that they can bring some value. Hopefully, however, it's an agent that's been involved in the process from a much earlier stage and have done development pricing, market research, consultative type advice. If we talk about the pitch, though,
Is this going up to David Wilson, regional head office in Mansfield?
This is going and sitting in front of the MD, the finance director, the sales director. If you're lucky enough to be invited to a physical meeting.
Mm-hmm. Do they still happen?
Yep, 100%. We do tend to find that more and more developers are asking agents to submit their documents ahead of going to the meeting. And by the way, there have been several occasions we've heard of agents that have sort of called us up to say, "Oh, look, we're not part of the network, but do you think it might be able to help?" You sort of dig into it, and they've sort of gone through that process, and then actually all of a sudden found that their appointment was cancelled, probably because their pitch that they submitted wasn't good enough or what have you. So,
I mean, how many pages does this pitch need to be?
I don't think it's a straightforward question as that. I'll give you an example. We've just completed a pitch that we won. We beat two of the high-end national agents, and it was very much part of the brief.
And when you say we, you're talking about you and the client agent.
We're the client. So yeah, this particular one, which is a site down in outskirts of Plymouth. It's a very sensitive site. It's a big regeneration project for an old fort. Probably talking about just under a £70 million gross development value. So huge fee potential. And our agent that was invited to tender was actually an agent in the region of the Southwest, not actually an agent in Plymouth. So we were then able to bring on board our Plymouth agent and the regional agent, and obviously then with us taking a national position of what we could bring. And
you get that as part of being an agent in the Land and New Homes Network.
100%, because it's all about collaboration. That's the big thing. And I think the collaboration, the piece I'd say there, we ended up collaborating with both the Guild and Fine and Country in that instance as well. So while some people may deem those as sort of competitive networks, they're not far from it. We've got a very good relationship with those organisations. So we felt in this instance they had a lot to bring in terms of the pitch, but the actual pitch process or the document or documents were incredibly comprehensive. And our view was, if we're going to go for it and the fee potential is that big, then we've got to go all in. Now, there was a time and a place for that particular style of pitch in terms of what we covered and the sort of how we position the different elements of the functionality of the sales and marketing strategy. But for a local Bob the Builder, they'd probably be thinking, bloody hell, this is a bit too much, and do these guys only deal with that? So you've got to cut your cloth accordingly. So we'd have pitch documents ready for the small local builder, then through to the regional, then through to the national, and then others that are sort of perhaps a bit more speculative. So
I think it's like any pitch really, Chris, about knowing your audience ultimately. So who am I going to see? What type of house builder developer are they? And ultimately, what's the desired outcome from that? I realise obviously the desired outcome from the estate agent is to get instructed for those sales, but understanding what the desired outcome is from the house builder for that site.
And what they want to get out of it as well. So, asking them what the brief is. You'd be surprised how many people just don't ask the brief. So they go in massively assumptive, and it's sort of, I call it sort of, I won't say what we truly call it, but it's almost the sort of the typical agent, waggling to say that they're this, they're amazing, and they're the top agent in the town, and the developer doesn't give a monkey.
So your normal pitch that you do on Barbara's sofa, the proverbial free night, is not going to work.
Very different.
Oh yeah.
Interesting, you say the brief. So you're actually, so they'll invite you in, but you're going to say, so what's the brief? You know, what do you want me to say?
Absolutely, yes. Because obviously every house builder might have a different view. What is it you actually want that agent to do? You know, is it everything from, because there will be some house builders that may assume all they really, really want is I just want some intro only leads, which is fine if that's what they desire. Or equally, that could be up to a full managed marketing service. Well, even from obviously the workload is there, and clearly from a fee option, that's very different. So how can you possibly go in and even start talking about it if I don't know what it is that you want, let alone quite a fee?
And you're saying most agents don't even do that?
No, I think very often there's a temptation to throw the kitchen sink at it because they want to win it without really looking at the financials that sit behind it. And the piece I'd say to agents loud and clear is you're not here to cash flow developers. Okay, so there are smart ways of stepping away from the blended fee versus the other bolt-ons that you could offer. So just because you can do drones and you can do, you know, fantastic video and CGIs, whatever, you've got to put a price on that. Okay, but it actually equally, does the developer even want that stuff? So unless you're really clear of the objective, so as an example, you could be the developer thinking, well, I'm expecting the agent to pay for staffing. You might be thinking that's 3 days a week, 3 days a week full-timers, or it's, 7 days a week, whatever. Well, as an agent, if I'm just thinking, well, that's right, I'm just going to do 3 hours a day, whatever. That doesn't cut. You're not on the same brief. So you've got to be absolutely clear of what the developer is going to be judging on.
And you only do that by asking up front, saying, why am I coming to this meeting and what exactly do you want me to touch on? Would you just go
what's the desired outcome for the developer, and what are they
from the
expecting
meeting?
From the meeting, and what do they expect from the agent as part of the service offering that the agent's offering?
And you ask that up front before you go.
100%.
Yeah, get as much information as you possibly can. It's all about, as Kevin touched on there, it's not about the fact that you can sell houses as an estate agent is kind of a given. So me rocking into that meeting saying, oh, by the way, I'm really good, and I'm not sure if you've seen
market share.
I'm not sure if you've seen some of my market stats were pretty good. By the way, we've won a couple of awards. So what? The fact that what you need to try and obviously to demonstrate is the fact that clearly we understand the area. I understand your product, Mr. House, but the fact that I can sell them is a given. But this is how we're going to go about that, and ultimately how I'm going to put your product in front of the buyers that you can't reach by going direct. Because again, if it's all about, oh yeah, but we're just really big on Rightmove, well, you might be looking at it going, I could probably get that on. I could probably get on Rightmove myself. What value add are you bringing to the table? So it's about making sure that's completely understood, and then ultimately, then a consummate pack of information and a pitch is then delivered to meet that
And the
brief.
size of that pack is dependent on the size of the builder, the size of the site, and also, what they said in the brief.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But you're just saying, I know this is not a pitch for the Land and New Homes Network, but basically you have almost some templates that you help your.
Well, they're bespoke.
They're all bespoke. So we
bespoke.
actually sit. We will any pitch that an agent in our network asks us to produce. So we have a graphic design team that produce these documents for our agents.
Is that a paid for service?
No, that's included. So so we do those for them, and we will sanity check those pitch documents to make sure, even though we're not going to be necessarily attending the pitch, although there are plenty that we do attend, we would look at that and say, this doesn't pass the so what factor.
I'm with you.
So does it hit the brief?
Boys and girls out there in the estate agency land, Ian and Kevin have not paid me to do these videos, but the bottom line is this: if you want to earn money from Land and New Homes, then really you've got to speak to these guys. They truly are exceptional. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your insight.
Thanks very much.